All right, 4-color elementals. So this is basically Teamer elementals with a small splash off of Unclaimed Territory for Yarok the Desecrated. We have 3 copies of Neoform and a Finale of Devastation to search it up as well. One thing that this build is doing that we've not tried previous is this build has fit in a bunch of copies of Chandra Acolyte of Flame to allow us to grind a little bit more and reuse our Neoforms and our Finales. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into some games here and see how this goes. Oh wait, did I have Chandra sleeves on this? What sleeves did I have? Where's my level 100 sleeves? This is a perfect level 100 sleeves deck. In. Any chance we could squeeze in a meme after this deck? If you want to cut the line, I can do one more for you today, Scholar. Jake is off at school, so I don't have to run outside and catch the bus immediately. So, for extra dollar dues, I'll do a third today. This hand's pretty bad. Just like, it's missing. If it had green mana, I might consider keeping it. But like, it's got this with nowhere to go. It's got a bunch of spells I can't cast. It's got a triple green card with without much over there. This hand is reasonable, and I get to throw this Yarok back because generally speaking, we want to evolve into that. Scry me a river, baby. Yeah, I think we'll keep that. Yeah, Thunderkin Awakener picking Risen Reef back up out of your graveyard is good. Also, you can stack counters on this with Omnath, which is nice. It sucks that I can't Lightning Strike. I think it's more important to kill Teferi than to Lightning Strike this, but they also missed a land, so I could see an argument for maybe killing this being more important. Could go either way on that. Advancing my board is important too. It exceeded expectations, Ian. I forgot to add Roast to the sideboard when I was picking over other deck lists that people had posted, but overall it was better than I was expecting. I'm going to Neoform this Leafkin Druid into a Risen Reef. And then next turn, I can play this and trigger this 3 times. Nice, Jedi. Congrats. And thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. Of course, Neil Drox. Catch you later, buddy. Drawn from Dreams was good. I think 4 copies might have been 1 too many, but I definitely think the card was worth playing. Honestly, I hadn't played Teamerscape Shift Ian since Icebang Coddle got printed, and I think Icebang Coddle was just a huge addition to the archetype. It was very, very good. No, I didn't really want to trade my Thunderkin Awakener for their... I did not think trading Thunderkin Awakener for their Risen Reef was a good trade for us. That's why I didn't offer it. My Thunderkin's is destined for great things. So I have 7 mana, but I don't have quad green, so I can't Cavalier and Leafkin, which is sad. This Chandra's looking pretty okay, though. Gets to clean out everything except the Hydra and the Risen Reef. Kills these dorks. Yeah, there's one Yarok. We don't have any actual black-producing lands other than Unclaimed Territory. We're mostly Neoforming and using the Finale to get Yarok. Okay, Cabalt, thank you for the 11 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hydra does have trample, which is a little scary. Hey, look at that, chat. They gave me a draw 3. This is why we saved Thunderkin Awakener. Because now the Thunderkin gets to bring that back, which draws me 3 cards. Did I say 3 cards? I meant 6 cards. It's really sweet, Bob. It's really sweet. We played this one once before, and it was excellent. Opponents had enough of our crap. Got it. Taco Bell is adding a vegetarian menu. That's interesting. I wonder if they're just like redoing some of their items so they default to just beans, if they're going to add a bunch of new stuff. Because Taco Bell's already pretty vegetarian friendly. Yeah, Sand's great. You're vegan and get Taco Bell all the time. I'm just vegetarian. I like my dairy. I'm bottom that in the dark. Our hand's got things like ironed out here. So I'm putting on Naya Feather in their current meta. It's very reasonable. Naya Feather is one of my preferred aggro decks in the format. That and Black Red Aristocrats are my 2 favorites. You can find my preferred build of Naya Feather, as always, on my website. Impossible Burger or Beyond Meat? I think I like the Impossible Burger better. If I'm being honest, I kind of prefer... If I'm being honest, I kind of prefer the veggie burgers that aren't pretending to be meat, though. Like, in general, I tend to prefer, the, like, what's the word I'm searching for? The, like, bean or potato-based patties. So I do this, I get this back. Take action, elemental. And then I get to Neoform Risen Reef into Omnath and kill Hero. Give him the old Cheeto fingers. Yeah, Neoform with Thunderkin is just kind of gross. It's real good. I don't know if these Veil of Summer should be in the board. This is a card I've not been super impressed with. The biggest problem with Veil of Summer in general is that this is a 3-mana Teferi format, and that you can't respond to things while 3-mana Teferi is out. Yeah, it's a little bit the flavor. The texture of a lot of meat I'm not a fan of either. But yeah, the flavor in general I'm kind of lackluster on. Golden Oreo, thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I need 2 more cuts here. I feel like I should play these to get a feel for them, because if I don't want these here, they shouldn't be in my deck. I only like Veil when your opponent needs to ego you. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I don't really like this as like a dispel for removal spells and stuff like that. I'm not sure one of each of these. Sure. They have a fast hero, this hand's kind of bad. But if they don't have a fast hero, all 3 of these cards are great in this matchup. It's unfortunate. You cut a Cloudkin? I think cutting Cloudkin's pretty bad, because Cloudkin is a card that, like, it draws a card when it dies, right? Or when it comes into play. So, like, it's a pretty value-oriented thing. So I feel like having my creatures that cantrip when they come into play is ideal against control. Really? Okay.
I've got time.
How do we feel about Finale for a mana dork so I can Chandra next turn? I guess if I do that, they just Teferi down tick and kill it. I could just play Scampering Scorcher. Yeah, maybe it's just Scorcher. I could also just Thunderkin plus tapped land here. Okay, so I'm going to Thunderkin plus tapped land here, and then plan to Finale for Risen Reef next turn. Yeah, if they didn't have Teferi in play, I'd say getting a dork there is ideal. But because they have Teferi in play already, I think I want to just hang tight.
Let's try this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm just trying to survive to 6 mana. Staying alive, staying alive. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Staying alive. Do. Land Elite Guard Mage. You just don't Thought Erasure me, bro. Now it is a little bit scary being at 5 here, because like we're in double Othakaya range now, which sucks. I feel like I just want like a third Chandra in the board over one of those Veils, and then something else over the second.
Start at a sizzle and see if you make it to the Inferno.
Yeah, this Chandra can't be countered. Veto don't matter. And then this kills Teferi.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
Potentially. They could theoretically save it, I guess.
I really should have seen that coming.
Despark, sure. Yeah, good turn for sure. Next turn I get to Finale for Risen Reef and then 0 this. I probably don't want to die to Oath of Kaya, right? Yeah, I think I want to not die to a single Oath of Kaya. So let's just give that the Cheeto fingers. If we draw a land, this can make this big enough to get back other things, which is nice. Sand's getting burned out by Oath of Kayas. I feel like we're in a pretty commanding position here at this point. Like they obviously have a bunch of spells in their hand, but like our hand is stacked. Yeah, Percy, it's weird for sure. Hey, look, this land drop draws a card. Oh, I should have left up green. I totally forgot we had that. Yikes. Oh, we'd have punished them so hard. Oh, we'd have punished them so hard. Tilt.
These little guys are great.
To be fair, though, this does counter an Oath of Kaya trigger, which is like, that's kind of our kryptonite at this point, right? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I would like the record to reflect that I am aware that I missed lethal. I was just excited. I would like the record to reflect that I'm aware I missed lethal. I was just excited. So if I would have made elementals with Chandra and whatever else this turn, they would have died. Instead, they're going to 2. I was just really excited that we drew a Fry, okay? Don't judge me. Instead, the deck, oh no. That's fine though, right? They're still just dead to her. This card's great. This card's really good. I feel like that was a great example of like not needing the Veils. I'm gonna cut the Veils. I'm not a huge fan of them in general in this format, in decks like this. And I felt like I had too many cards to bring in there. I'm gonna put a third Chandra in the board because she's absurd in that matchup. So she covers that matchup and she covers some other places. And I think I'm just gonna put a second Shock in the board. The way this deck's constructed at the moment, it doesn't have a ton of respect for... In fact, I might cut these Blood Suns. Last time we played this deck, I felt like I didn't have a hard time against the other decks, and I think I want a bunch of Shocks to give me a chance against the aggro decks in the format. Make that as a change. Update the Stream Decker. I get excited about Fry. So listen, there's nothing more American than getting excited about a Fry, is all I'm saying. It's a pretty easy mulligan here. Just like nothing to do for a while. If like one of these Cavaliers was like a third land, I'd probably keep that. But that hand just like has too high of a probability of doing nothing, I think. Now this is a hand. What am I getting rid of here? Because I can cast the Yarok with this hand, right? I think it's Thunderkin. Yeah, that's where I was heading. I feel like it could be Thunderkin. I could be greedy and bottom a land. Like, there's a couple directions I could take there. Man, our deck is determined to give us Leafkin Druid, so... this deck only plays one Yarok. If you're looking for a Yarok deck that only has one, we've got one copy in here. I'm actually gonna bottom that. I'm looking for like things that evolve and stuff of that nature. Risen Reef would be good too. My kingdom for a Risen Reef, please. Yeah, so 25, 26, or 27 is when the set drops. Usually sets release on Wednesdays or Thursdays, so I believe 25 or 26 is when we'll see the new set drop. Give him the Cheeto fingers here. Do we have an official date? I don't have an official date offhand. How's your Monday going? I was watching people Omni draft, and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on the blue leyline and flash decks? I think the blue leyline is unnecessary in flash decks because the rest of your deck mostly has flash anyways. You're a monster! You're a monster! That's, I think we've died. I'm not an expert, but I think we've died. I'm really glad the Field of the Dead decks have largely pushed Mass Manipulation out of the format, because this card sucks to play against. Not the gumdrop buttons. Alright, what do we need to get back into this game? We need to go like Risen Reef into an Omnath, basically. Maybe have a shot. I guess this kills their Omnath, right? You know what the best part about playing ladder matches is? The best part about playing ladder matches is that we just get to concede when we're not having fun. That matchup, we're never beating a bunch of Agent of Treacheries and Mass Manipulations. Their deck is just way greedier than ours, so just hop out and hop back in here, shall we? Teamer energy would look like a joke in this format. Maybe. I think that's possible. What do I think of the best decks being those? I mean, it's predictable, right? Like, I feel like there were a lot of people who very incorrectly thought Modern was going to change at a fundamental level with the banning of Faithless Looting and the legality of Stoneforge Mystic, but it's not. Modern is still what Modern's always been, which is a format that's about brutal efficiency. And the fact that they gave us another okay threat doesn't change the fact that it's about brutal efficiency. None of those decks were surprising, I think, from anybody who has a lot of experience playing Modern. Harlan Fier with the Wurza deck, one. In my personal subjective opinion, I think playing against the Wurza deck is quite possibly an experience that's paramount to playing against Lantern Control. It is a terrible Magic the Gathering experience. It is worse than playing against Hagak. The Wurza deck is better than Splinter Twin or Lantern could ever dream of being. So, the Wurza deck is less tedious to sit across from than KCI, but I also think it's more powerful. So, KCI was extra miserable because of the duration you had to sit there for. Now, I don't think that's true, Imbot. I think the Hagak deck was much easier to hit out with sideboard cards. Yeah, the Wurza deck is like if Splinter Twin and Lantern Control had a baby. And don't get me wrong, I greatly prefer Modern with these changes compared to Modern before. But I would prefer, I'm so confused. They must have just assumed our hand's a lot better than it was. The Wurza deck is bad for people that haven't played against it because it is a deck that can infinite combo you on turn 3. That also has a ton of prison elements in its toolbox. So it has cards like Ensnaring Bridge and Damping Sphere and Grafdigger's Cages and Pithing Needles. And then Mox Opal gives them an absurd amount of flexibility because they get to play 4 colors thanks to Astrolab and Mox Opal with 0 punishment for playing that many colors. So they get to play Galvanic Blast and Assassin's Trophy and all other sorts of different things. I'm really hoping that the fact that they banned Faithless Looting means that Mox Opal and Ancient Stirrings will eventually hit the chopping block. This hand's a little speculative, but it's like pretty good. Yes, if you have 0 cards in hand, you can only be attacked by 0 power creatures, Gecko. It is super miserable. It's as miserable as it sounds. Yeah, Fair Thopter Foundry is also very good. Agree. If you're a standard player and you think 3-mana Teferi is miserable, you should familiarize yourself with the cards Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge. They're a whole nother level of misery. Land! Papi! Fried gin, anyone? Fried gin, anyone? I appreciate it, Yak. That's A+ advice. Alright. Got a little bit of a freebie after giving a concession up. Yeah, and if you think Thought Erasure is bad, you should read Thought Seize. Basically, all of the things people complain about being miserable in Standard, Modern has versions of those cards that are like cranked up to 11. This hand's actually pretty good. The Cloudkin Seers help us recover from the mulligan. Keep a land there. We have had a good set today, Garden Variety Trail. Even the Magic Online decks we had to start the morning were good. Legacy and Modern were both reasonable this morning. Are we back on the Mythic grind? Yeah, we'll probably hit Mythic most seasons. I'm not really like dead set on obtaining the top 1,000 or whatever, but we're gonna play on the ladder. For sure. Fry's actually pretty good in this matchup too, right? Because Kesis is white. Kills Laz as well, and their Planeswalkers. That's an excellent one. I'm gonna keep that, I think. Yeah, for someone asked, Modern is miserable, why do people play it? The reason why people play Modern, in spite of there being a lot of really miserable play patterns, is the same reason Historic is likely going to be popular in spite of it costing extra money. And that's because your cards never rotate in Modern, so people find decks that they latch onto, that they get to play forever, and that they love. So regardless of it being good, bad, miserable, or not, there's going to be a lot of people that just play things because they love them. I'm really excited for Brawl and Historic. I'm super ready. If right now was September 2020, we would probably just not be playing any Standard this month, or very little, and we'd just play all Historic. So rather than playing Standard when excitement is low, we'll just play other formats. Yeah, Shock's pretty bad here.
Let me aid your reason.
For sure. I think I'm gonna I can shock the Tameo and then untap Finale for Cheeto Fingers and finish her off. Did you see Cedric and Patrick answer the question about the historic cost? I did not, Beetle. What was their take? I'm curious as to what their take was. Yeah, I think so. So I talked about this earlier, but just to repeat for people that didn't hear it, I feel like Wizards put themselves in this position where they either, if they want to support Historic, they needed to make it cost a premium, because in my opinion, if Historic and Standard have the same amount of support and cost the same amount of money to play, Standard would end up in likely a very bad spot. And the reason why I say that is look at Modern and Standard in paper. Modern is wildly more expensive. Or Modern is wildly more expensive than Standard, and it's also much more popular. Yeah, historic decks will cost $10 to submit, just like Standard decks. I only charge a premium for Magic Online decks because Magic Online I have to pay $10 per league. So we're probably dead next turn. No matter how I slice this. So I guess we'll just go out of this world doing what we love, drawing some cards.
Hey, don't start any fires without me. Hey, these little guys are great.
I feel like most of the people who are going to take issue with Arena's cost are people who probably weren't spending money on Arena anyways, so WotC's probably not going to be too upset to see them go. I don't know what Immolation Shaman does. I feel like most people who spend even 25 to 50 bucks per set release, who also play enough to get a lot of currency, probably have enough cards that the 2-to-1 cost for Arena for Historic probably doesn't matter to them for the most part. If you're dropping 500 to 1,000 on Arena since the release, how full is your collection? Your collection's probably pretty full, right? Like, that's a real question. Like, how many cards do you think you're missing? Yeah, right? So, like, people who have full collections, we just get to sit in the corner and, like, make whale noises, because this doesn't impact us, right? And, like, if Standard and Brawl are the only free-to-play friendly format, I think that's fine, honestly. If every format isn't strictly free-to-play friendly, I really don't think that's the death of Arena. We're probably dead here, right? Probabilistically. They have a Tashar in their bin too. Oh, I guess they don't actually have that many Moxes. This is a real concern. I probably shouldn't have attacked with this.
Beans, walk it off, Chandra.
So, if you free to play into a historic deck, you'll have it for forever. Yeah, that is a good point, and I agree with that. But there's going to be a lot of people getting that deck initially is going to be tough. Sure, Male Branch. Like, that's the people getting upset by WotC prices things high. WotC prices things high and then pulls it back if there's consumer blowback. That's called capitalism, people. That's how everything works. WotC is a for-profit company that has shareholders they're trying to make money for. Okay? That's like level 0 capitalism is price things as expensive as you could possibly price them. Because I guarantee you that there are times that they've priced things what they thought were high and nobody complained, so they just kept the higher price tag. That's just how this works. Hey, thanks for the 5 months, Soren. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Getting mad at overpriced things is also reasonable capitalism. I guess, but like, I just don't understand how people were surprised by this. Like, people who are surprised that the company that lets modern decks cost $1,500 wants to charge a premium for historic, they're probably idiots. Like, I don't like, if Wizards of the Coast wanted to, modern decks could cost as much or less than standard. They don't though, right? And there's a reason for that. They don't want those cards in those formats to be cheaper. Like, would I like them to be cheaper? Hell yeah, I'd like them to be cheaper. But I live in this place called reality where I understand how these things work. And in reality, where I live, I am not surprised by the decisions that have been made. Because based on the historical information that we have, they are unsurprising. And I mentioned this earlier too. At the end of the day, I think the pricing models, hey, thanks for doling out some sub-gifties, J-Bags. I appreciate the support. I think the pricing model, hey, thanks, Beetle. I think the pricing model of most of these free-to-play games, including Arena, is definitely described as predatory. But it's also predatory and it is the way it is because it works. Whoop, there goes gravity. Doop, doo 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 doo. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you will, but you never ever let it go. Only get one shot tonight, it's the chance to blow. I'm slightly concerned that a sub gift went to Fruit Fornicator. Can you assure me that your username is ironic? Thanks for re-upping for the second month with that Prime Support Soul. Welcome back. Civilized Scholar, cutting in. We're going to do a third deck today. What are our sweet memes made of this morning? Rail Dino Finale. Sounds excellent. So they have their namesake, but they don't currently have anything to fill their graveyard at. I would like some lands, please. Yikes, yikes. Yeah, I agree, Black Sheep. I think a lot of people fall into one of two categories complaining about Historic. One, there are people who aren't putting any money into Arena anyways, so that means WotC probably doesn't care about their opinions, because, let's be honest, that's the reality of the situation. And two, if they are someone who's putting money into Arena, even $50 a set into Arena, you're probably going to have stuff to play Historic with anyways. I think we're gonna die because we don't have lands. Why is it 2-for-1 in Historic? Because you're an addict and they know it. Yeah, that's the God's honest truth right there. Sullivan is so great. That's great. I'll pull that clip up on stream after, so we can watch it together after. Wow. Dumping the Leafkin back to our hand is rude. Yeah, right? Like, the same company that figured out they could charge 2.5 times as much for Masters booster packs. People are just, like, surprised Pikachu-faced that they're, like, gonna charge more for Historic. I would like 2 lands, please. So, I think part of it is, for a long time, my hot takes came presented in a way that was less than elegant, to put it bluntly. It's the Big Lebowski quote, chat, right? Like, you're not wrong, but you're still an asshole, right? For a long time, I was that guy. And occasionally I'm still that guy today, right? Like, I'm a human, I make mistakes. I think we needed to hit lands 1 turn sooner. I don't know if we're going to be able to recover from this point. They filled their graveyard up pretty well now. They don't have an excavator in play yet, I guess, which is nice.
I have learned little here.
Oh, they do have an excavator because they have Laz. How much does a wild card cost? So one of the reasons why the pricing model on Arena is what I would describe as predatory is because I can't, when you ask me, well, what does it cost? I can't give you a straight answer because there isn't a straight answer to give. The actual cost of all of these things is severely obfuscated. I agree, Percy. He's very good at it.
Let's slow this down.
And as I've gotten older and wiser, I've gotten better at it myself. But a lot of people think I'm a lot older than I am. If you judged most people based on the things that they say and did at 22, 23, like, you know, I'm a very different person today 5 years later than I was then. And like, I wasn't a terrible human being at that age, but I was definitely rude. Are we dead yet? We're getting pretty close to dead here. They're not close. They're not quite at deterministic yet. Oh, they have 2 Moxes? Yeah, that's good enough for me. Two Moxes is good enough for me. Awesome, Furky. Yeah, but VSQ does really good stuff. It's really great stuff for sure. How do you beat the opponent's deck? You have to kill them. You have to, oh, the clip. All right. I'll make a note for after this one.
Whole thing. Can you not able to follow the whole thing? Can you make sense of why we need to redeem twice as many wild cards in Arena for the older cards to be able to play Historic?
Because you're an addict,
Yeah.
and they know it.
Yeah, I mean, I can make sense of it.
First one,
That's more of it.
the first one's free.
Yeah.
And then it costs you.
If you don't like it, don't do it.
This is a recurring concept in all manner of consumer products.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a business, but like if you don't like it, then
Those guys are great. Those guys are great. Speaking of great, I think this is fine. I don't know what they're playing. Let's bottom it for now. ISB Pathfinder, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hey, they get it, right? That's the worst justification ever. No, that's the realistic justification. And that's not, and well, actually, let me rephrase. That wasn't a justification. That was an explanation of why it is what it is. It's not saying this is right or this is okay or this is the way you should be happy about this. It's just stating the fact that this is why this is happening. They're not saying this is right or they should do this. They're just being honest with you about why this is occurring. Hey, Trino, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday wherever you are. I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Strike this Land War Elf because I'd really prefer not to get Nissa next turn. Yeah, the first hit's free, right? That is, yep, the first hit is free. Yes, that's another thing too. Like, people are like, the people that are saying like, this is gonna prevent new players from getting into Historic, good, that's the point. And I know that's not the answer people want to hear, but that's the point. The reason why it seems like they're making it harder for new players to get into Historic is they don't want new people playing Historic. You're a new Magic player, go play Standard. That's what they want from you. They're like, it's gonna do this thing. It's like, yeah, that's what they want it to do. They understand how this works. They want it to be hard to get into. Night Pack Ambusher. Okay, interesting. That's rude. That's unfortunate. I think I'm cashing in this Thunderkin to draw a card. So, the initial release of Historic is best of one, but if you read what they said, the reason why it's best of one to start is because it's not really a release. What's happening with Historic in November or in September at the end of the month, it's a soft release. They're only introducing Historic in September at the end of the month because they have to. And the reason why they're not giving it full support right away is because, again, Standard's their bread and butter, and people are most interested in Standard at set release. They don't want to distract from it. It's the classic business parentage. It is, yeah. They know what's best. Yep. Because they're just trying to make their bottom line work. It's the long and short of it. Yikes. Yikes. Are we dead? I'm feeling pretty dead. I guess we could hit a land here. So let's Cheeto Fingers this. Okay. That makes this a 4/4, right? That means we're marginally less dead. Like, I have another Omnath next turn and I have some more lands. So maybe... And honestly, like I said, the biggest takeaway for me as someone who really wants Historic to succeed and have support is if you want Historic to succeed and have support, you should probably be happy that they're pricing it higher, because the fact that they're pricing it higher means that they actually intend to support it. Because if they weren't gonna support it, they would just be like, nah, it's fine, it can cost the same because you're not gonna play any meaningful tournaments in this format anyways. Now, if they don't actually support it, then I'd be upset. But I would be very surprised if their intention is not to support it. I really hope we get some sweet wolf cards in the fall. If we don't have a really kick-ass big bad wolf card that comes out of Alendra, I'm gonna be very salty. Because these cards are great. Hashtag Wolfpack. We're probably dead here. I don't think we're coming back from this. Our deck's pretty clunky. Our opponent's deck probably just devours it. I guess if they don't hit a counterspell here, I get to take their deputy. Yeah, they get 5 looks. Swing and a miss. I would like to keep this one. Do I kill Deputy or do I kill Deputy, Night Pack, or Tolsmere? Which of them? I guess I'm going to kill the Deputy because getting the Cavalier back gives me another land, which draws me another card. And like, maybe we have a shot from here. Maybe their bow hits have been really bad. So if their bow hits keep being mediocre, we could have a shot. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Do I just jam her? I think I just jam her, right? I'm gonna lead on. Let's lead on this to start and see where we go. Because there's none of my elementals die here. That's a Neoform. My Yarok's in the bin. I have another Cavalier of Thorns. Only having one Yarok's kind of sad. I think I'm just doing this still. Yeah, I think that's the plan, is just Chandra clear the board.
And no one is telling me what to do.
Oh, they're trying to find another night pack. If they find another night pack, all their wolves survive. Okay, that could have gone worse. Wait, did they just keep the wrong wolf? I think they just kept the wrong wolf. Yeah, they kept the wrong wolf.
Big fireball.
They kept the wrong wolf. They have to keep the new one because the new one's the one that's going to fight. Yeah, feel like we got away with one there a little bit. This is probably a Neoform out matchup, right? Like, it was okay there, but they almost certainly have Frilled Mystics, right? And getting this card Frilled Mystic is like huge when it hugely feels bad. I'll leave this in as like 2 Yaroks. Maybe I trim one of these. I probably have a hard time defending her. My mom is cool. Thank you for the 7 months of Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Happy Monday. Drop Lightning Strike. I think Strike is worth keeping in because it kills Tulsmere. Sand's a little medium. Maybe the fact that it only has 1 green source means it's supposed to be a mulligan. Oh yeah, it kills Deputy too. Yeah, I definitely like leaving Lightning Strike in. Let the greed consume you. For a professional, we'll draw Mana Dork next turn. I'm going to keep that now that I drew a Cavalier of Thorns. Territory also lets us draw Yarok if we pick it up, so... I'm, like, pretty cold to that with this hand. Yeah, Sam's probably supposed to be a mulligan. This just kills us incredibly quick. I think I'm supposed to play this, so if I draw a green source, I can play Cavalier next turn. Yep. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. Let's just run it back. I should keep a hand that does something. We'll probably finish up this one and then do one more with this before we roll into Royal Dino Finale as our last deck of the day. Are there any non-green cards with reach? Probably. I don't have any good examples offhand, though. Hey, Nixie and Betta, thank you for the $10 tip. I appreciate it. If someone wants to competitive arena, how much should they spend on cards per set? Pineapple Pizza Crew. In my experience, once you have an initial deck that you can play constructive with competitively, putting in probably $50 per set will get you most of the meaningful cards from those sets. So in my experience, if you're playing, you know, let's say 5 to 10 hours a week or more, if you do all your daily quests every day and play some constructed events, you'll probably be able to buy 40 plus packs per set. So even just buying the pre-order pack goes a really long way. Let's start by attacking, because I can Cheeto Fingers to finish them off if they block. TX Fist Pump, thanks for the Prime, I appreciate that, welcome. I'll have you know, the stream ads finally got me to me and I subbed, but I'm not sure if I can afford this expense long term, but we'll see. Look, I'm not one to tell you how to spend your money, scholars. If you want to do donations instead of subs, more power to you. But yeah, you do. I unfortunately cannot turn off the stream ads for specific people. It's not something I have within my power to do. Does this smell like fish to anybody else? I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this and pass. And if they night pack me, I'll just Aether Gust them. And then next turn, I can actually Omnath plus hold up Aether Gust to counter their Frilled Mystic, which is great. to set a low bar. Teamer shift exceeded my expectations, but I also did not have a ton of expectations. All right, fair. So I think I'm just gonna stick my Omnath this turn while they're tapped out, because Chandra is guaranteed to resolve, right? So as nice as getting a Chandra emblem going a turn sooner would be here, I think there's a good chance they have a counterspell, so I'd like to play this out while they're tapped out. And for my next trick,
I'm Chandra. The immolation sends skid out of my way.
the Immolation Sensation. Pedro headshots. Do you have the link to the Cedric Patrick wildcard clip things? I don't offhand. I do. There we go. I guess I could have known that was about to happen.
No pressure.
I'm actually in a bad spot from here, because if they have a bunch of looks to find, they have a bunch of looks to find a copy of Nightpack Ambusher next turn. And if they find a copy of Nightpack Ambusher, it's gonna make a constant string of wolves and gain them a bunch of life. Yeah, I think I messed up when I played the Chandra and cleaned them out there and got my Omnath back.
You want to fight? You got it. Hope it's not too hot for you.
This is looking really good for us to start, but
I know who I am.
Arcbow is just such an incredibly powerful card. Yeah, I think I killed Tolsmere because of the life gain.
Check out these fireworks.
I did, Kyle. Been there, been in that situation before. Alright, survey says. Okay, well, Nightpack does mean that, well, one, it means if they find a Tolsmere, we're gonna get ranched. But if they don't find a Tolsmere, we're in a good spot. I'm really surprised, like, if I was them here, I think I would have activated this to try and find a Tolsmere and eat this and kill my Chandra. I feel like they're giving us a chance to get in this game that they don't have to give us.
No pressure.
Like, I feel like my opponent is so focused on trying to hit Frilled Mystic that if they had taken just slightly more aggressive lines, they would have won this game and it wouldn't be close. And I feel like right now it's kind of close.
Reduced to embers.
And we're dead there. Like I said, the bow is just such a good card that just like picked the game up and carried it on their back. I feel like the tipping point that game, where the mistake that I made was I played the Chandra, and I killed a Frilled Mystic and a Deputy of Detention, and what I probably should have done there was just give them an emblem, and the reason for that was it put Omnath into play as a 3/3, which allowed them to kill my Omnath with a Tollsmear Wolf, and if I hadn't given them an opportunity to kill Omnath, I probably would have run away with the game with the extra cards that it generated and the large body it would have had in play. I think I misevaluated what my Chandra was supposed to be doing at that moment. Get a little hot in my office. Nexus of Fate. Do we want to watch me play against Nexus, or should I concede and find another match? I don't really care about hitting Mythic ASAP. I feel like even if we have a chance here, this match kind of sucks. Yeah, I'm just going to play a different match. We're going to play one more with this deck regardless, so I'd rather it be a match that's interesting. It's not really the natural answer. So, once upon a time, Chandra, when Chandra was spoiled, she would have been a natural answer to what they do. However, in this year of our Lord 2019, the end of the year, they have a variety of ways to kill people much faster, and one Chandra emblem doesn't do it. So, the one main deck Callous Dismissal as the only win condition, Chandra emblem definitely beats that version of the deck, but that version of the deck doesn't really see play anymore. Hey, Gab, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub and for the 3/4 of a year at that. Sure to take a peek at the deck queue. Let me know if there's anything there you'd like to bump up and see a little bit sooner. Thanks for the support. Yes, 6 mana also takes a while. By the time you're playing your 6-drop, they're generally ready to go off. Really hope they pre-ban Nexus in Historic. That would be ideal for the format, in my opinion. Removal spell, Reef Scorcher, send me up. In for another land. My opponent apparently is not in for another land. Temple of Triumph, probably Feather, if I had to venture a guess. Which I would bet Feather's another hard matchup for this archetype. We don't have a ton of removal, and the amount of removal we have isn't like... It gets blanked a lot of the time. Alright, Temple of Triumph. So, Feather and Jeskai Planeswalkers are the two that it's probabilistic to be. And Fry is good in both of those matchups, so I'm going to bring that in. This is really good against Feather and kind of mediocre against Planeswalkers. I think I'm going to bring it in anyways. What do I want to trim here? And now, like, what I'm cutting They had an instant, but didn't shock it, so we can assume it's a white combat trick. Yeah, that's probably a good assumption. I feel like I want to board like their feather, which means I want to pull down and have more removal. I don't think shock is good enough here. The window during which shock can kill their 2-drop is very, very small. This hand would like a red source to cast Fry, but we can cast the rest of it. I didn't board in Lava Coil. Yeah, if they're Feather, I'm definitely going to board in Coil. There's a small chance they're not something else. How do I go about bumping a list? Just let me know in chat which deck in there you'd like to bump up. I don't think there's any doubles in there. If there's two things with the same name, tell me which line it's on, but I don't think there's any doubles in there at the moment. Definitely Feather. Grixis mid-range for Modern sounds excellent. For people who are fans of my Magic Online stuff, we're going to be doing 2 Magic Online decks per morning until rotation happens. And Wednesday's actually going to be an all-modern day, I think, because there's an arena update on Wednesday, and most of the time when arena updates, I end up getting locked out for the day, so I'm just going to not schedule arena days on updates from now on. Give him the Cheeto fingers. Huh. So, Taijik could still mean Feather, but it could be a bit of a brew, too. That's not a card that's in, like, stock Feather. I guess we'll never know. Alright, I was going to make that the last one with this, but I can run a little bit late today since I don't have to get Jake off the bus. I'm actually going to do one more, because that match was kind of meh. Conceded to Dexys, got a free win there. It's a wash on ladder points, God bless. Feather decks that are more Boros aggro with Double Strike Guy and Taijik. Okay, that's neat. Taijik does definitely synergize with the 1/1 Double Strike. They curve right into each other nicely. Sure. Lands are a little painful, but the spells are great. Impulse. Impulse is a neat one. Want to throw some kind of Field of the Dead deck? Yeah, definitely, Scholar. Hollowed one sounds great. Voltaic, thank you for the 32 months of Prime support. That's a really long time. I appreciate it. There's an oldie but a goodie. Man, it's been a hot second since I've seen that one. Marty, doling out some sub-giftaroonies. Happy Labor Day to you. Welcome to our newest members of Hoaglandia. So, this is the reason I waited to Lightning Strike. Because I basically burn a counter off of this when they target that again. Are those ones for anything in particular, Marty? Let me know. Man, we're about to die very quickly, chat. We're dead on board. Yes. Yes, we are. If I'd have played Omnath, we wouldn't have been dead on board, but I think we're still dead. And this feels teamer, man. Red arena. Hello, knock. Yeah, red removal's a tough sell in some of these. And some of these things. Trim one of her because I can't block. Bring in Lava Coil and Aether Gust. Cross our fingers, hope for the best. Red, white, hammer time, and blue, red, memekin with Dino Friend when Dino Friend is free for jail. Do you have a loose shell for the memekin deck? Or would you like me to find one? That's fine. Perfect, Marty. Dibbles! Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate it. I really hope Brainstorm is coming to Historic. Gonna jam it in Citadel. Lol. I actually think Brainstorm would be kind of a sweet card inside of Historic, because Brainstorm's a lot worse when you don't have a bunch of fetch lands. So, like, Brainstorm in a format without fetches is a lot less powerful than it is in Legacy. And again, that's one of those things where I feel like Magic players just, like, ignore the fact that, like, power level is contextual. They just, like, see Brainstorm and are like, oh, no, you can't put Brainstorm in things. I think with a little bit of work, you can make Brainstorm playable. You have things like Narset to impulse past it. You have things like Kefnet, etc. Do I have 20 cards I'd like to see in Historic? Not immediately offhand, but I have a number of cards that I think would be sweet. If you were like, Jeff, can you give me a list of 20 right now? I'd have to think about it. Some are really easy. I'd really like a lot of Eldritch Moon stuff, actually. Tireless Tracker, Eldritch Evolution, Elder Deep Fiend. I think there's a bunch of really really sweet cards that you could include like that. Spell Queller. I would like Spell Queller with the asterisk they would need to ban 3-mana Teferi. But I think banning 3-mana Teferi would be a net positive, so I'd be in for that. Yeah, I agree, Dow's. We talked about this last week when it came up. I think introducing a selection of cards rather than just doing everything is just, it's really awesome. This is still not drawing a card, so let's bottom it. Vendilion Click. Vendilion Click's another sweet one. The cycle of 3-color things from Khans, Mantis Rider, Siege Rhino. I would love me some Savage Knucklebuster. Savage Knucklebuster is my spirit animal. And trust me, if you're in Twitch chat, you also like Savage Knuckleblade because Twitch chat loves terrible teamer decks. I remember when you were talking about a Modern and Arena that only adding certain good decks wasn't what Modern was. Yeah, this is a new format, J-Ray. This adding specific cards to Historic that aren't already in the format, in my opinion, is no different than what they did with Modern Horizons very recently. It's exactly the same as just like cherry picking cards and putting them in a set. They're just not making it draftable, basically. We're just saying, instead of a whole set where 15 or 20 cards, like, actually, here's a neat idea. Are there, someone can go check, are there more than 15 modern playable cards in Modern Horizons? Are there more than 20 modern playable cards in Modern Horizons? Because it's basically like doing Modern Horizons, but cutting out the draft chaff, right? It's basically what it feels like to me. Does Hogok count? That's an interesting question. Does Hogok count? And playable is a little bit of a loose term. By playable, I would say has top 8'd a 8 or 9 plus round tournament. Let's do that metric. That's like moderately objective. Thanks for the 11 months, Full Flame. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. I think we've died, chat. Hey, Scholar, thanks for the tip. It's for Hollowed One, I assume. Yeah, 4X. So I actually updated all the deck lists on my website over the weekend to, I updated all the decks on my website to cut Faithless Looting from them, and Neonate was what I put in there. Oh, we're very dead. Sure, count the lands, Marty. So overall, so we played, this is our second time playing this 4-color Elementals deck, and the big difference between the last build we played and this one was this build pulled up and decided to play these Chandras. And I'm not sure, I feel like adding Chandra to this archetype is a good example of asking if we can, as opposed to asking if we should. And so I wouldn't, that's what I'm going to get at, Puppy. I wouldn't cut Neoform. So I feel like this card just helps this deck grind a lot. And what was trimmed, I believe, from the previous build we played was like Shocks and Lightning Strikes and other cheap interaction. And as you saw, in those games we were losing, we were basically getting run over. Now, another thing to address in this type of deck is that while I think this deck, because it has kind of the Yarok Omnath kind of combo kill turns, and it has Chandra at the top end to clean out zombies, I think this deck is good against Field of the Dead. I think this deck is awful against the mass manipulation ramp decks, so I do think that this deck does suffer from the issue that a lot of these kind of mid-rangey decks in the format suffer from, in that it's not super aggressive, it's not incredibly interactive, it has other people that go over the top of it. So while it does play some fun games and do some sweet things, I feel like the ultimate power level of this archetype does struggle, but I do think it would be a little bit better if there was fewer of this and a little bit more interaction, so we don't get run over as much. Yeah, we died to Kisa's combo too, because we're not interactive enough for that matchup. Yeah, so like, in my mind, injecting 20 cards right into Historic, it's pretty close to what you're gonna get from a fully designed master set, right? So, yeah. Rather than like creating a whole set for limited, just giving us cards that'll have a similar impact sounds fine. Yeah, I knew that, well, Reddit in general tends to be a dumpster fire, but when there were people on Reddit complaining not only about the price of Historic, but also the idea that injecting new cards directly into it was somehow bad, I was like, this is really silly. So you'll acquire the new cards via wild cards or by they did say stop spreading FUD. This isn't President Trump's Twitter. You don't just get to post false things here and not have repercussions for it. They said point blank that there will be events that you can play in that will get you play sets of the newly introduced cards. You'll also be able to spend wild cards on them, but there'll be historic events that you can play in to earn them. Mana looks pretty good here. We're maybe light on red sources. I only have 10. There's only 10, 11 red sources in this deck, and we're trying to play Marauding Raptor. I guess this finds lands. I feel like I want 1 or 2 more red sources in here. I probably don't need a basic island in this deck. I'm gonna cut that and add another Steam Vents. Or maybe Temple. There's Temple of Mystery down here too for, yeah, I'll add Steam Vents. Sideboard looks mostly fine. Sideboard looks fine. Why is there a Polyraptor in this deck? The card that combos with Polyraptor is not present, right? Anyone? Oh, Marauding Raptor draws the game. It draws the game, right? I forgot. Okay. All right, so we'll do that at least once. Yeah, you can also lightning strike it after you make a bunch of things. That's true.